Welcome to episode number 6 of Take the Trip with Us, where you hear from travel professionals who've experienced destinations firsthand. Listen to their stories and experiences along with recommendations for your own vacation. So today I have Tabitha Amon and her son Anthony, and we're going to hear about their recent trip last month to Walt Disney World. So you got to go to Walt Disney World. That's very exciting. I know there's been some changes lately with the COVID-19 stuff. So I want to talk a little bit about that too. But entering the parks, was there anything different than what you were used to when you first got there and you got going with it? Was it all of your family that went?
It was a big group. We had 4 adults and 7 kids. So it was different than normal, but we didn't have any issues. I mean, they had it streamlined. You walk right into a tent. They take your temperature. They keep you in groups. And then they actually have bag check-in now to where you don't have to give them your bag. You walk through. Some other people are getting checked on the side every once in a while. Just depends. We were in and out of the parks just the same as always.
Okay, very, very easy. That's awesome. So how did you find those character interactions? Because I think that's one of the things people are most worried about, because there have been so many changes. You know, they're not able to run up and hug their favorite characters. This would be maybe a good question for Anthony to answer. Did you get to see your favorite characters? Were they there? Yes? So I can't hear him. I'm sorry.
He did. I think it's really easy. A lot of times with clients and different friends that go, I point out where they may see the characters at, because the parades, cavalcades, whatever it is called exactly, tend to run down the same streets and in the same areas. So once you know where that is, if you listen for the music, they pop up throughout the day. You really don't know when they're coming, but it's pretty obvious if you know what to look for.
That's cool. Yeah, I can't pronounce that word either. It's a weird word. But yeah, that's fun. And I think I've heard there's been different characters that pop up that you may not, see in the past. Yeah. So I've even heard you can get selfies with them if they're around. And
you can. I love it. I'm really jealous that I didn't get to go see the Halloween parade going on. I'm not excited about that. I'm still trying to figure out how to get back.
That's awesome. That's cool. So Anthony, I know you have things to probably do today and schoolwork, but before you go, do you want to tell me what your favorite ride is at Disney World, or your favorite attraction?
Expedition Everest.
Ooh, Expedition Everest. So you don't mind going backwards? No, not at all. Well, that's very cool. How many times did you get to ride it this trip when you went?
5 times.
5 times? Did your mom do all those times with you?
Nope.
So they just put you on the roller coaster and let you ride by yourself? No.
Found other people that were willing to go 5 times.
Oh, that's awesome. Very, very cool. Well, I do like that ride too, Anthony. That's a really neat one. So, well, tell me about dining, Tabitha. A lot of the restaurants are still closed. I know there's a couple that are doing character dining. Were you able to find restaurants that were open? Like, did you make reservations? Did you do quick service dining? What did you do?
We did a combination of both, and I feel like the dining system was really easy to use. We didn't have any issues with it.
Okay. Like, did you make like on your app, did you just make a reservation to go to a restaurant?
We did. We used the app to make reservations. We did mobile ordering for quick service. I love mobile ordering. I use it every time I go anyways, just because you walk up, you order, as soon as you're ready, they say okay, and you grab your food. It's so simple.
So you could even be like waiting for a ride, order your food on the app, like an hour later, then just go over and say, I'm there, and they fix it?
I usually order it right before when I'm walking up, honestly. I don't usually plan ahead. I like to do everything right when I'm ready.
So you're more spontaneous.
I am. So it works great for me.
That's just fine. So when you're in the parks too, you're more spontaneous. You just
I
ride
am.
whatever you.
I love it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's
And
why
I
these
think,
last trips were really easy for me.
yeah, I think right now that's really easy. You know, Disney's not doing the fast passes. You're not having to plan some of that stuff ahead of time. So yeah. Now, what about Memory Maker? Do you use it? I mean, I love using it, but right now, is it something that you've used or?
We love Memory Maker, and we did use Memory Maker on both of the trips I was on. I just like it. You get that whole group in there where normally you can't. You have problems. You have to pick somebody to take the picture. You have to organize it. When you have Memory Maker, you don't. They put you where you need to be. They add in little touches to the picture, which I think are great. My favorite are magic shots. So kids love them, and they just make a great picture.
Yeah, I love those magic shots too. And then it's fun. You look at your phone later, you're like, oh my gosh, look at that picture of us. So, well, I bet Anthony, you have some from Expedition Everest. Do you have your hands up when you go down and get your picture taken? Yes. Okay, that's awesome. Very cool. Tell me about the lines though. I mean, I know it's changing, and it's changed because of COVID-19, but did you feel comfortable? Did you feel like you were distanced enough to feel that it was okay, you know, waiting in lines? How did that go for you?
I did. We didn't really have any issues at all. Obviously, every once in a while, people are looking down at their phone and they forget what they're doing, but they realize really fast and back to their line. All ride lines have the different lines laid out, so you can see right where you should be standing and where the break between the groups is. There's a lot of cast members that are watching constantly to make sure that people are respecting other people's space, and it's running really great in my eyes. I've seen it twice now on 2 different trips, and I don't think it could go any better.
Good. That's good to hear, because I know, you know, people having to keep a face covering on, which we call mask, but Disney calls face covering, you know, and making sure that people are keeping those up. Did you all have any problems? I mean, how did the kids do wearing them?
We had the 7 kids, and they were just fine. And we were there. It was really warm. It was summertime. You know, no issues. Anthony even has asthma, and he didn't have any issues at all.
That's great. That's super. Did you find that you took advantage of some of those relaxation stations where you could go sit and just take your mask off?
We did, and actually more than not, we tended to find a lot of places that we just like to stop naturally, because as long as you had your food or your drink, you were okay to do that, and just kind of stop and look around and take time to look at things that you don't normally get to take time to watch, like the ducks walking all around Magic Kingdom, or the kids were looking for the hidden chameleons. I mean, it's really, we got to do things that we normally wouldn't get to do, but I love to do, but normally the kids are rushing me to rides, so we don't get to do them.
Yeah, so a little slower pace for you, it felt like, which is neat. Yeah, and I think what you were saying, if you have food or drink, you can take your mask off as long as you're stopped and you're stationary. Exactly. And you're somewhere where you can.
And distanced from other people, and you can't walk up and just sit right next to somebody and take off your mask and expect that's going to work. But if you can find a bench away from other people and find a nice spot to sit, then as long as you're eating or drinking.
That's great.
Because they do watch, and I'm
yeah, super. What were some of the other activities that you did with the kids that you were maybe surprised that were still going on, or you had fun with in particular this time? I think you had mentioned the Wilderness Explorers too.
Yes. Elsie did the Wilderness Explorers for the first time, and she loved it. She loved it. They had all the stations open. She went and bought the ears that match, and she thought it was great. I mean, they had everything socially distanced, so they were keeping the kids all separated in their groups that they were already in. A lot of the stations only had just the attendant or the cast member at the station, to where you didn't have to worry about it. She learned a lot. She really enjoyed it. And we noticed.
Explain exactly what each of these stations are. It's in Animal Kingdom.
It's in Animal Kingdom, and it's just different depending on where you're stopping at. One of them that we stopped at was outside the Ride Dinosaur, and that was Elsie's favorite. She thought that was great because the lady got to get in depth with everything. There were no other kids there. They were on opposite ends of the table, so everything was distanced. She explained to her that every state has a dinosaur fossil. So of course, right when we were done with that, Elsie had to look up and see what ours was, and then she had to text her kindergarten teacher and say, "Look what I learned." She really enjoyed it.
Oh, that's great. So then if they go around and they do these different stations, are they earning something? Are they getting something for that?
They have a little kind of like a passport book, similar to what you would see at Epcot and different things. They get a little sticker to put in there and say that they completed that station. So she has that up in her closet, and she's already got plans for next time when we go back to finish the rest of the book.
Oh, that's great. That's super. They were still able to do those hands-on activities.
Exactly.
And then I know there's one in Epcot too. You did that also?
We did not personally do that, but I was trying to scope it all out while I was there just to see how they were handling that. The Kit Kat stations are still open, and ironically enough, they're sponsored by Ziploc, which in this situation is perfect because they just have the little Ziploc bags sitting on all the different spots, and the kids can still go up and get their bags and feel like they're still taking part in that. Even though it looks different, it's still there.
Right. That's awesome. Very cool. So any special memory here that you have from the trip that you want to share? A funny story? Something that happened?
So many. Oh my goodness. Every time we go, we come up with something else. I think this time was the ducks. We enjoyed the ducks so much because I think they missed everybody. And they were just waiting for people to entertain them. It was so funny. I mean, everywhere you went, there were just little parades of ducks walking around on Main Street. And so many ducks on the grass on Main Street. I can't believe it. I've never seen that many all at one time.
Oh, that's funny.
Of the ducks in front of the castle, just standing there like little portraits. The kids got a really big kick out of it because it was, I think they would just miss people.
Missing people. Oh, that's cool. And that's something that you don't always notice and see when you're, rushing through the park. So being able to step back and, kind of look at things. So I want to do something fun here as we close, and we're going to do some lightning round questions. So there's no wrong answer. You can shout it out. Okay. So, and Anthony, you can do it too. Who is your favorite Disney character?
Gaston. I love
Gaston. Okay. Anthony, do you have one?
Donald.
Donald Duck. Okay. So here's another one. What is your favorite restaurant to eat at? Maybe you didn't do it this time. That's okay. But do you have a favorite restaurant? Anthony doesn't.
California Grill.
Okay.
I know it's a favorite for a lot of people. Ohana, if I can say too. Those are my favorites. I think that you have to just go see them if you haven't.
Yeah, trying all the food is definitely fun. Okay, so here's another one. When you're in the park, are you mostly a ride connoisseur or a food connoisseur? What do you go for?
Rides.
Definitely rides.
Rides, okay. And then
the kids win.
and then here's one. So you got to be honest here. Are you an early riser to get in the park early, or do you sleep in and you just go when you feel like it?
We always go in late.
Okay.
Our favorite time is about 12 o'clock.
So you're
they're going to be kicking us out.
Yeah, you're the late people getting kicked out. Okay, that's awesome. Love it. Love it. Love it. Oh, well, thank you both so much. Thank you, Anthony and Tabitha. I really appreciate it. And everyone listening today. So please tune back in with us as we continue to bring you information about destinations that you and your family may want to visit. So take the trip with us. Hear our stories about new destinations that we're exploring. Learn tips and tricks that we've found useful, and keep dreaming with us about that next destination or the next vacation or your next adventure. Until next time, keep dreaming.